Well Together Podcast. Welcome to Well Together Podcast. In each episode, inspiring conversations from wellness experts will guide you towards a better life. If you are ready, let's start our healthy life journey. In this episode,
welcome to a truly rejuvenating episode. Are you intrigued by the potential benefits of reducing inflammation, enhancing mental clarity, deepening relaxation, and achieving a more restful sleep? If so, stay tuned as we delve into the world of microdosing cannabis with the expertise of Dr. Chia.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Well Together Podcast. This is Dr. Phil from TheLifeCo Phuket. So today's topic is about the benefits of microdosing cannabis. Last year, Thailand actually opened up to the idea of the use of cannabis, whether in a recreational form or medical usage. So that opened up a lot of opportunities for a lot of people. From the medical side of things is actually a very welcome legal accreditation that the government created. So we are able to offer cannabis as an option for our guests to enjoy the benefits from, because we all know that cannabis had been given a bad reputation for a long time. But cannabis in itself is probably Mother Nature's way of saying to us, hey, if you're looking for a cure, here it is. Cannabis is actually that plant. If you have aches and pains, if you have anxiety issues, if you have pain, inflammation, you're dealing with cancer, Mother Nature is saying that, hey, look at this plant. Cannabis is actually there for long before, but then because of some business-related issues, the plant itself had been criminalized. But it's good that the Thai government started to think about it in a different light, meaning to say that the Thai government made the use of cannabis something a bit more accessible to a lot of people. So here at TheLifeCo Phuket, we are able to allow our guests to experience the wonders of cannabis, particularly for people who are suffering from depression, anxiety, inflammation, dealing with all sorts of pain. We would be able to have the option of providing cannabis as a possible addition to a natural remedy or therapy. But we're here to talk about microdosing cannabis. So what does that mean? When we talk about microdosing, we are talking about a very minimal effect or very minimal consumption of cannabis. When we hear the word cannabis, we know that we smoke it. We know we're talking about edible gummies, edible brownies. We get high, we get a laugh trip, we get hungry afterwards, and we feel terrible after a while if we have too much of this for certain types of people. So when we talk about microdosing cannabis, we're talking about taking a very minimal amount of the chemical itself, whether it's tetrahydrocannabinol or cannabidiol, CBD or THC. We would be using a very minimal amount of those doses to access the health benefits that come around with it. When we are using cannabis recreationally, we are consuming a large quantity of these chemicals, and that can trigger psychoactive activities. You get those visual psychedelics, auditory psychedelics, and you also get very, very hungry. You get the munchies and all that. When you do a microdose, it's not meant for you to experience those types of effects. The benefits of a microdose is to make your body accept these chemicals in small quantities so that it would be able to access what we call the ECS, or the endocannabinoid system. It is a system, it is a type of a receptor that is present in every part of the body, that once we are able to access that system, it would be able to release an array of effects: inflammation control, pain control, calming you down, giving you better relaxation, making your blood vessels more relaxed. So there are a lot of benefits that you do get if we get the endocannabinoid system activated. So what is the difference when you're just using it recreationally as opposed to a microdose? As I mentioned earlier, when you're using it recreationally, we could either smoke it or vape it or have an edible about it, but the doses are uncontrolled. So we might be able to consume a huge amount of these chemicals, THC and CBD, and it will overload your endocannabinoid system. Now, every person has a different threshold or limit of how much our ECS, or endocannabinoid system, would be able to contain. Of course, if you're able to just contain enough of it, all the benefits would be accessed. But if we have an overflow effect of what we call reaching the threshold and going over the threshold, all these other effects like the psychedelia, paranoia, all these other unwanted effects of consuming cannabis would actually come in play. When you microdose something, we are not trying to trigger those types of effects. We are trying to get to the minimum possible dose to activate your endocannabinoid system so that it would be able to give you the anti-inflammation effect, the analgesic effect, the better mental focus effect, the better relaxation effect, the better sleep effect. So in fact, people who are interested in doing a microdose program or approach or protocol, we encourage them to be able to discover their own limit. Try to know where their threshold of their ECS is, their endocannabinoid system is, and from there we would be able to work on, I think you have a bit of too much of a dose, so we'll dial down the dose a little bit. Because when you are microdosing, you would be able to use THC or CBD on a regular basis, even on a daily basis. It's because it's not meant to give you psychedelia. It's not meant to affect your daily activities. The images that we get from people who are cannabis users is that they're stoned. They're stoned because they're high, they can't function properly, they've been laughing, they can't do anything, they can't focus. But when you are microdosing cannabis, you don't get those effects. But it would be able to access the ECS to a point that you're doing this because you want to deal with a chronic condition, you want to deal with pain, you want to deal with anxiety, you want to deal with the failure to relax, you want to deal with insomnia. So when you are able to know that right dose for your microdosing protocol, you would be able to use this on a daily basis and at the same time access those health benefits that come along the use of cannabis. So one thing that's interesting is that we took advantage of that situation and introduced microdosing to our guests who are willing to join that type of a program, and we included some cognitive devices alongside it as well. When I say cognitive devices, these are wearable devices that would be able to influence the subconscious mind in order to help you deal with traumas in the past, phobias, your fears, whether you're a victim of post-traumatic stress disorder or you're going through a lot of painful past that you want to forget. Getting you into a microdosing program at the same time accessing your subconscious thoughts is actually a win-win situation, because when we want to help people deal with these types of psychological difficulties that they're going through, we need to be able to access the subconscious thought, at least a portion of the subconscious thought. And the thing is, our minds are mostly running in the subconscious mode. Probably 95%, 98% of the mind is subconsciously controlled. Only 2 to 5% of our thoughts are actually conscious. So in order for us to be able to help people get deep into their psyche, to be able to help them overcome or even reverse all these damages that these situations brought about them, having that little leeway into the subconscious mind would be a very helpful way and make a huge difference. So we use microdosing cannabis as a strategy to relax the mind so that when we're using all these cognitive devices, we would be able to somehow influence how the mind works a bit better. So if that's something that is interesting for you, we would always be willing to host you to come over and experience microdosing therapy, at the same time accessing cognitive devices in order to help the subconscious mind think in a more positive light. So if you come to TheLifeCo and you are willing to go to this type of a microdosing program, well, when we do a microdose program, the best way to go about it is to start slow and go low, okay? So we always start at a low dose, well, depending on your exposure or your experience with cannabis. Of course, for those who are experienced cannabis user, we might use a higher dosage to trigger the effect of the ECS activation, as opposed to somebody who is new to all this. So if you're never done weed in your life and would want to tap into your subconscious better, or want to experience some sort of a chronic pain management or a relaxation or better blood vessel health or whatever, you would be able to be started on a slow dose, and we would work the dose higher to a point that you start to feel something. Okay, we'll get this dose down a little bit, and then you can have this on a regular basis so that you would be able to benefit from the health effects that cannabis has, and not getting high, not getting the munchies, not getting all these unwanted effects that usually come along with getting stoned. Okay, so again, the purpose of a microdose is not to get you baked, not to get you stoned, not to get you high, but enough of the dose to activate your endocannabinoid system. And when we are able to do that, you would be able to access better relaxation, better pain management, better inflammation control, better mental functioning as well. All in all, we do not aim to make you high, but we just want to activate the health benefits and health effects of using marijuana or cannabis or ganja the natural way. All right, that has been another episode of Well Together Podcasts. Please stay tuned for more episodes like this. See you soon.
Well Together Podcast. Inspiring stories from TheLifeCo.
Let's listen Mr. Ersin Pamuksuzer, the founder of TheLifeCo. He was one of our first guests joining the medical microdosing program started in TheLifeCo Phuket.
Hi, my name is Ersin Pamuksuzer. I'm the founder of TheLifeCo. I'm here now, just graduating from a new program we started in Phuket. It's called Microdosing. Thailand opened the doors for cannabis as a medical usage, and TheLifeCo started a program called Microdosing program with some kind of elements. Cannabis, THC, and CBD oils are part of it. And then biohacking is part of it, and they do delicious food with CBD, with cannabis as a whole. I did a week, and then I extended 3 days with a kind of additional days, up 10 days. It's a great program since I didn't have any problem to solve. So I would say the food was delicious. They made delicious food, including cannabis ingredients. And then biohacking part was also quite interesting. So using some equipment which completes the way we get slower, more relaxed, enjoying the day, enjoying the silence in my brain, etc. That was a beautiful experience.
Well Together Podcast.
Start a special journey to a healthier you at TheLifeCo Phuket. Located on the stunning island of Thailand, TheLifeCo Phuket is a haven to improve your overall quality of life with a holistic wellness approach to body, mind, and soul. Our clinically integrated healing programs offer specialized medical services and natural therapies tailored for cancer prevention and recovery from chronic diseases under a serene atmosphere. Visit thelifeco.com today for a life-transforming wellness experience.
Next episode of the Well Together Podcast.
How to find your authentic self, a psychologist's guide to self-discovery.
Thank you for listening Well Together Podcast.